exposed to all of these digital storytelling applications, they will be able also to be creative in practicing their speaking skills. And so there are vast ICT tools for teaching and speaking. Perhaps we need just to have more time to be or to explore more of these ones. This teleprompter apps, it really helped. One example is like prompt up, prompt smart. This is one that we also use to help the students to practice public speaking. The name of the app is Prompt Smart. Sorry, I did not write it here. It's a Prompt Smart, where you can just see it in the Google. It really, before we give speaking activities for public speaking, we help the students by using these apps, and then it provides a scrolling script, and then from there they are practicing their speaking skill. Prompt Smart. Okay, so this can reduce also anxiety if as we allow them also to focus on the delivery rather than memorization, because we do not already we let them understand the text, not really memorizing, but at least if you have this Prompt Smart, they will be able to focus their speaking skills. Later, while they are doing this one, they are also memorizing it. Okay, so there are many teleprompter apps already this time. There are many AI through AI. So these are effective tools in helping our students to practice public speaking. Okay, and of course the interactive whiteboards and the YouTube and also the online discussion forum, and yeah, the digital portfolios. And with the digital portfolios, we are able to track. One example that we do is that if they are going to speak, we let them record or video record themselves, and then they create their simple folders about each of their reflection. So instead of writing, there are also instances that we do tasks like speaking, and then they do this one. They make a folder and then they share it to us, the link, for us to view their speaking task, the output for speaking task. So these are powerful tools also that we can also use so that they will also monitor the improvement from day 1, day 2, day 3, especially for speaking. Okay, so for the development of language skills, still, it is interrelated with that of the receptive skills and the productive skills. Okay, altogether, it will always be from the brain. And then these are just little examples. However, I hope that it will help you in your classroom teaching. Okay, so the fourth one also here. Okay, aside from aside from the personalized learning experiences in the development of language skills, we also have the number 5 here, the teacher's training. Sorry, this is number 5, the teacher's training and pedagogical changes. Okay, so sometimes, no matter how we do it, no matter how we try, if the teachers are also not adept of the use of ICT, adept in using ICT rather, it will always be difficult for the teacher also to teach in the classroom without proper teacher training and pedagogical changes, or amid the pedagogical changes. Okay, just like today, the result of the evaluation of the faculty here, because there are some senior faculty who are not so adept in the use of technology or technology integration. So the problem is that during evaluation, the students rate them very low. in the use of ICT in instruction. Okay, and this is the common this is a common problem, not a problem, but an issue in our university as well. Though they try to cope, but they cannot cope with the kind of the technology skills of the students. That's why there is really a need for the administrators also, not only in the Philippines, but also there to really equip all the faculty in the use of the ICT. Okay, because many the shift already from the use of traditional methodology or traditional methods of teaching to the kind of teaching that we have now, just like this one, is that it really necessitates us to really ensure that the teachers can effectively leverage technology in their classrooms, because this is the trend already. It's no longer a classroom based where we can just sit in the classroom. This is the kind of world that we have now, and this is already the landscape of education that we need to look into. So these are the impacts of technology and EFL. Again, I'm sorry, bakit? Okay, we have the enhanced accessibility of resources. We also have the interactive learning environments and the personalized learning experiences. The fourth one is the development of language skills. And the fifth one is the teacher training and pedagogical changes. So with this, if we faculty will really help to achieve all of these ones, then there will be success in the pedagogical framework that will encourage innovative teaching practices. So this is the current status that we have for the integration of technology in the EFL. Okay, though I included also here some of the approaches to EFL learning, but before we move on to that, I would like again to ask the class if, okay, after the lecture, after the first set here, if you do you find rewarding activities that you have also conducted in your classes in teaching, or the best practices that you have in your classes in teaching the four macro skills or integration of technology that you would also like to share in the context of Indonesia EFL?
Silakan, guys. If you would like to share about the use of ICT in your EFL classroom or in your classroom in Indonesian context. Siapa tahu ada yang mau berbagi, Bu Syakira mau tahu gitu, bagaimana keadaan, bagaimana ICT is implemented in EFL class. Come on. Wiwin, Pak Rahman, and others.
Ma'am,
Yes.
may I?
Yes, please.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning, Ma'am Shakira.
Good morning.
It was so nice of you to share your knowledge about ICT in TEFL. Well, actually, I would like to share a little experience of mine. For your information, I'm working as a teacher, English teacher in special needs schools, you know, schools that teach students with disabilities. Well, it was interesting that you said before that nowadays ICT integration in teaching, not only in English, but all of, how to say, all of knowledge, all of subjects right now is very important. But the problem of mine is that there is still limited ICT that can how to say, that can provide suitable apa namanya, that can provide suitable apa sih, that can provide suitable knowledge for my students, especially the students with disabilities. For example, just you give us some examples, but how to say, it's not still suitable for them, because they are limited for certain things. So how do you perceive of that? How do you perceive the use of ICT itself for students with disabilities? Because it's very challenging for me as a teachers in special needs schools.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Win.
Okay, thank you for sharing also. Yes, though we promote ICT really for EFL, for EFL teaching and especially for the four macro skills. Yes, one challenge really is the use of ICT also, which is very much suitable for children with special needs. But ma'am, may I just ask, what are some examples of ICT tools that you use for your students for example, for teaching them how to read or to write? Because I am not so familiar with the context of Indonesia, but are you also using some ICT tools in your teaching of
I
in
do, ma'am.
Mhm.
I do. I use word wall. You know word wall?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh.
I use word wall for teaching them the flashcards. The flashcards. It's very familiar for me, and I think it's suitable for their uh, ability, because it's easier to understand rather than the other applications. So I just right now I still teach them vocabulary,
I
not
see.
yet reading, speaking, listening, and others. Just vocabulary right now.
I see. Yeah, because dependent on the kind of because the students have different special needs, right? And some
Yes,
of
ma'am.
mm, it's very challenging really to look into some of your cases. We are not so familiar with this because there is a certain in the Philippine context there is a certain SPED, for example, SPED that really look into some special classes. But what I am so familiar with is that they use differentiated instruction. Okay, differentiated instruction for this and then I'm so familiar with one because one of our faculty here has a special what do you call this one? A special child also. Um, and then they make use of some kind of a specialized learning LMS for them to have a home-based learning after 5 o'clock. Okay, it is but with the supervision of parents. So it's very challenging because that app needs a supervision of parents every after classes. I'm sorry, I forgot the application name, but it is designed by the school where one of our children of our faculty was enrolled in. Okay, and then there are many kinds in that app or in that learning management system. Um, it's integrated. Okay, there are some examples of presentations that are already put in that particular application. So it's an learning management system as well, but it entails parental guidance after class. Okay, so ma'am, maybe this is also a very nice research for you also to explore, for you also to look into, to find frameworks suitable really, the ICT for the special education. And we might as well read your your output for that research in the future.
Yes, ma'am. I'm writing a research on it actually right now, and that's so nice of your faculty because your faculty accepted disability students. It's great.
Yes, we accept because of the concept of inclusive education. Though we need to train the teachers. It's very much important to train the teachers to handle these cases, but it takes budget to do that. That's why if we can be able to recommend students to go to a school where there is a special education or trained faculty, then we do that. Okay, but still there are some students also who are deaf and still they are included in the class. And it's specialized. They have specialized activities. Multitask. That's why it's very challenging to be a teacher of such. Because we cannot treat them like the general students, just like how we treat the general students. And so thank you, ma'am, for sharing. And we really hope
You're welcome.
I would read your research in the future about this. Yeah, it's very interesting also to research because that will also be your help really to other teachers who are just like you. It will
Okay, ma'am.
really
Thank you.
yes, ma'am. Okay. Are there more who wants to share?
Silakan kalau ada yang mau men-share lagi pengalamannya terkait Bu Syakira mau mendengar bagaimana pengalaman tak semua mengajar EFL students. You are welcome guys to share yours. Kita punya ada beberapa Bu Bese, probably you would like share your experience in TEFL, in teaching English as a foreign language, or Pakistan or Fifth or others. Silakan. Ini sharing section saja ya guys, jadi tidak usah terlalu ini. And then if you bahasa Inggris kita sama aja dengan mereka, so no worries about that. Ayo, silakan yang mau sharing. Ada yang mau sharing? Sakti, are you available? You probably would like to share us about your experience in teaching for higher school, for high school, bukan higher, high school. Silakan, others if you would like to share. Our students are very calm, ma'am.
May I, ma'am?
Yes, please, Pak Rahman. You're welcome.
Okay. Good morning, Ma'am Sakira. How are you today?
Yes,
Okay.
we're good.
First, I want to say thanks for the nice presentation about the ICT. And actually, I'm not teacher, but I want to know more about it, about ICT in class. So I want to ask, after you teach in your class using ICT or apply the ICT, according to you, what is the best way to evaluate the effectiveness of using ICT in TEFL classes for students at different proficiency levels? That is my question, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, good morning. That's why before maybe I would not say that there is best, but there is appropriate ICT for each. That's why for example, for before we teach the different macro skills, for example for ESL, what we do is we assess first. We assess our students. We also look into their learning styles and the level of proficiency that they have, and we do strategize learning. That's why it's a bit tasky, as I said a while back, so that if the different learning proficiency of these students, we cannot just use specific ICT for one, but there is what we call the general. For the LMS, it's just general. But for some students who fall, for example, below average, we tend to give them special tasks, which we do through learning management system. We upload some materials, the personalized, if you took note of a while back, there is what we call the personalized learning, wherein we make use of the Google Classroom to really address these low-performing students to level up. But for general reading, for example, we let them read. But while they are also reading, we are also assessing their level. So it's a bit difficult to identify the best practice, but perhaps the effective, as I say, that is effective for every context, dependent on the need of the learners. Just for example, for us in the classroom, because they sit together as majors, if they are very low in their speaking task, what we usually do is differentiated instruction, and we do task for these students who fall below the low proficiency, and we give them tasks personally in their messenger or in the Google Classroom. So it's really time consuming, but it's rewarding. We put effort really to address the needs, so that though they have different levels, we give them appropriate materials through one learning management system. And what we are only using in the Philippines is just the Google Classroom. But for the task and for other apps, with the one that I enumerated a while back, we also try to do all of these ones. Because really, you cannot equate the kind of proficiency level of those who got high or those who have high proficiency with that of the low proficiency. So it's a bit challenging, really. Perhaps it's also nice to look into appropriate tools, technology tools, right after assessment. And that's the thing that you need to do. It entails patience and time for teachers, a sacrificial time for teachers to do all of these ones. Just like one example that we have in our class, ASL, because it's writing, some of the students are advanced, some of the students are not. So I make use of other apps that will not be for everyone, but there is the practice lessons, or I send YouTube links for those students who really perform low in writing, or those who got or those who are assessed below below average in their writing. And with the extra activity, they will be able to do that. And that entails time, patience, time, patience, and the sacrifice. Okay, so it's in the teacher. The best answer for that perhaps is the teacher's patience in sacrifice of time to really make use of this any technology to really make the students learn. So still, in this case, the technology will never replace the teacher, because no matter how we have the technology, if it is not used appropriately in the level of the different proficiency levels of the students, then it will never work like that.
Thank you, ma'am. I think there is others who like to share. Ibu Sulaspia, do you want to share something, Ibu?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for chance. Actually, I teach at the junior high school in a remote area. I just only use offline media such as video from YouTube, worksheet, or ebooks. So I have a question in there. Is there an application or something that can integrate technology that can be used in learning foreign language in area where the internet is unstable? Currently, I have gotten the offline application, ma'am. I think just that. Thank you for advance. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Ibu. Yes, Ibu Sakira.
Yes, actually you're right with the ebooks, but we pay them. Most of the offline activities, most of the offline materials that we can give to our students are not free. We need to buy them. Okay, where do we do that? How do we do that? Usually we register to some apps And then we will, in the Philippines, all the materials that we use are paid. Okay, one example here is the what do you call this one? The script, SCRIBD. Okay. You need to pay to download all the materials that you have there, especially for text-based. Okay, script is one wherein you can download all the professional lectures of most teachers in the world because they upload it here. Script. But you need to pay for it. But at least it can be used offline. The content of this one can be used offline. There are also downloadable apps that you can also use for speaking. However, I guess you need to pay because you need to download the recordings there. Still, you need to pay a little amount in dollars. You can just search there, offline activities for online for teaching English writing, online, offline apps for, if you search that one in the Google, it will really help you. And then you need to register to that site and then download all of those ones. And that's a kind of challenge because it entails money, but it's okay. As I said a while back, your passion is teaching, and so you need to also share all the resources that you have, including or even buying all these ones.
Thank you, Ibu. Thank you. Do you want to continue or you would like to hear more from the audiences?
Okay. I'll just finish or wrap
All
up
right.
the approaches. And if there are some questions, anyway, these are just for
Yeah.
a reminder. The approaches for EFL
Yes.
learning are just reminders of what you have discussed, perhaps, or they have learned already. But it will just help us to be reminded of the approaches for EFL teaching. Of course, we have here historically, many have tried all of these ones, and many have also researched on its effectivity until such time that we are already in the communicative competence. So if you're going to look into the different kinds or approaches to EFL learning, we have 8: communicative language teaching, task-based language teaching. We also have the total physical response. We also have the direct method and the content and language integrated learning. We have the audiolingualism, the community language learning, CLL, and the eclectic approach. So we start first with communicative language teaching. Don't worry, this will just take 15 minutes. Okay, so we start first with communicative language teaching, the CLT. This approach really emphasizes the primary means of language learning. So the focus of this one is for the development of communicative competence, okay, through real life scenarios, role plays, and group discussions in the class. And then also the priority of this one is grammatical accuracy. It also encourages students to express themselves in meaningful context. So in the Philippines, we adopt this communicative language teaching. Okay, this is integrated to the curriculum of the basic education from kindergarten until high school. So with this, most of the tasks that we give is seemingly we give tasks that are real life based. But the technology that we use here, instead of doing role play live in the classroom today, we let them make movies and then we play in the classroom. And we let the group make a reflection after their presentation. So movie making is one example of this one, wherein they try to speak spontaneously in a movie, like in a 15-minute movie, and then they will be able to present this one to class. And then after that one, the students will be able to give their reflection. Okay, but we take note that one important aspect that should be developed in this one is the fluency of talking, and of course the grammar accuracy is being looked at in this case. So this is also being integrated in the basic education curriculum for ESL. For EFL, you can also this is also one of the approach to EFL learning that you can also look into. Okay. Second one is the task-based language teaching. This task-based language teaching is it centers on the completion of a specific task that requires language use. So we let the students engage in the different activities. Same, it's wherein they could also reflect in real world, and so that they will promote participation and practical application of language skills. But in the task-based learning environment, okay, there are some examples of task-based learning environment. For example, for formative assessment. So after we give them the task, and then, okay, these are some strategies that we can use in our classes. Okay, there is what we call, example is the exit tickets. At the end of the lesson, we ask the students to write down the most important concept that they have learned or any question that they still have. Okay, so that would be the exit ticket after we give them the task. So with that, it will also give or provide immediate feedback on their understanding, and will really help areas of reading clarification. Okay, another one also is the observation checklist for formative assessments. We let them do the checklist per group activity, and we monitor their participation, collaboration, and problem-solving skills. And the students, there is dynamic within the students group or teamwork dynamics. Okay, how they were able to engage in the group activity, for example. So these are examples of the formative assessment that we can also apply in the EFL classroom. Okay, another one is the peer assessment. The students are so much comfortable if if we encourage them to evaluate the contribution of each other in the group task. Okay, and of course, this is the self-reflection journal. This is so popular with in the Philippine setting, in the classrooms. We let them also write their self-reflection journals, and just the quizzes and the interactive tools. So we utilize the Google Forms or the Socratic way Q&A to create quick quizzes that will assess their understanding of the key concept in the real time. Okay, after you give them the task. So these are examples of formative assessment. Okay, there's also for the summative assessment techniques for a particular time. If you will give the major output, okay, it can be project-based assessment, it can be performance tasks, and it can also be portfolio assessment. Because at the end of the task, we evaluate the students based on the product that they have created. And this is already the overall. In our case, in our classroom, in the ESL, these summative assessment techniques, okay, is being applied in most cases. Okay, because it's the product that we now give or we score already. Okay, and we record. For the formative assessment, we just do them to assess if they were able to learn. But for the summative assessment, this is already the final output where we can already record with the correct or with the use of the different rubrics. Okay. There are also performance tasks that we give. We design assessment where the students must demonstrate their knowledge through presentations or role plays, or mimic real life situations. Okay. This is, for example, in drama and literature, we do this one. Okay. And also for portfolio assessment, this is for writing. We collect the portfolio of students, and then including their drafts, the reflection, the final product, and then try to compile them into one portfolio. And that's what we are going to score. Okay, so that is the highlight for if we give tasks, writing tasks or speaking tasks to the students. Okay, these two are the formative and the summative assessment that we use for task-based. Okay, so the third approach also here is the total physical response, the TPR. This is more applied in the kindergarten here in the Philippines. It's like this will help in the retention and understanding of vocabulary through kinesthetic. It's like we play a song and sometimes they act on it. They put an action to it, or we play action songs, or even it's also nice that the voice of the teacher can be also used. But in most cases, the teacher records the voice or the commands, and then it's the students or the learners will be able to do the action based on the command. Okay, it's a total physical response. It's like, for example, you go to you run to the right door, you close the door. It's like that. It's just basic, but the kindergarten learners usually learn. But if you apply this one to higher years, they would not appreciate it. Okay, because we are in the ESL. Okay, at least the medium of instruction here is English, and sometimes the TPR isn't much appreciated in the ESL. But for EFL, especially for lower level, in your case, this can also be one strategy for you to do, especially in teaching the action words or even other words. Because as you give the command, they will be able to act on it. And then they are going to do it, and then they retain the vocabulary in their memory. Okay, so that is for the total physical response. Okay, another one is the direct method. This method advocates teaching exclusively in the target language without translation. You will, as a teacher, okay, from the beginning of the class until the last, it will only be English. Okay, so no translation. So let the students understand and also respond to you in the target language. So if your target language is English, okay, until the last, it's target. You will not mix other. We will not be able to be bilingual in this case. So this way, it would emphasize vocabulary acquisition and pronunciation through contextualized practice, and until the students will be able to learn fully the language. Okay, it's a bit challenging, really, in the EFL classroom, but you might as well try in your class that you speak English only. Also, it's like an English only policy in the class. But you cannot do this one the whole semester. Okay, maybe it will just be an approach only for a particular topic. But it might not be done like it will not be forever in the class, because they will get angry with us. Okay, in the Philippine ASL, we cannot do that. We will still have that, what we call the shifting of two languages to re-emphasize what we want. But the direct method here is really exclusive use of the target language. Okay. Another approach is the grammar translation method, wherein it focuses on reading and writing skills through translation exercises between English, for example, the native language, for example, Bahasa, to English. All right. So here, the students tend to memorize vocabulary in grammar and the rules as well without practical, but it lacks practical speaking skills. While this method can be effective for academic purposes, it does not promote spontaneous communication. Okay. Okay, this is one of the challenges of the grammar translation method. So it's like we try to really emphasize on the translation of the native language in that of the English. This is done in one of the subjects in the basic education, grammar translation from our language to English. But it's not a whole year round. Yeah, there is only a certain quarter wherein they can make use of this one. Because we can actually make use of variety in that eclectic. Okay, so that's grammar translation. And we also have, by the way, when I was checking the what do you call this one? Translators, there are many translators for in English to Bahasa. Yes. English to Bahasa, it's all over in the internet. If you click on the Google translator, English to Indonesia apps, there are many apps that you can use. Okay, it's there in the net. Okay, so these are examples of machine translators. Okay, another one is audiolingualism. This was developed in the World War II for rapid language acquisition. So this emphasizes listening and speaking through repetitive drills and dialogues. So this can also be used for teaching, speaking, and we expose the students to different drills and dialogues. And now there is what we call the muscle memory or the habit formation, wherein the students will now be able to practice the structured pattern of speech until they become automatic responses. That's why in the Philippines, there is a joke. Hello, how are you? Do you want coffee or tea? Okay, these are some examples of structured, repetitive drills that they do in the class. It's like, what do you prefer, coffee or tea? And even the accent is also there. It's American accent, and the students will follow. But with the use of YouTube these days, this can be improved. We also consider the content that we need to give to our students. Hello, how are you? How do you do? Okay, these are examples of program kind of audiolingualism materials, which were done before. But today, there are vast examples. If you are going to apply this one in your class as an approach, there are many in the YouTube that you can get. Okay. For example, you can expose them for for a week for this kind of approach, and then they will do this one repetitive drills, so that you will be able to expose them to a language, for example, for an accent, a particular accent, and then later on they are going to do this one in their own. Okay, so we discourage the programmed conversations. What we encourage here is still authentic materials that they can listen to and repeat after, so that they will be exposed to various materials and not just that common example that we usually do in our classroom. Okay, so that's audiolingualism. Okay, but all of the approaches can be done actually through the eclectic approach. Okay, this is already many educators already adopt this approach. Okay, they try to blend all the elements from the various methodologies that will really suit to their students. So they can make use of all of these ones in different, or whichever is applicable in the particular lesson, they can do all this approach, because there is no mono. Okay, it's not mono, but it is multi learning these days. Okay, the concept of multiverse, as they say, is that we do not bank on uni, but we are more on multiverse education, wherein we can blend and we can create possibilities of approaches as long as it is suited to the learning styles of the students, and as long as it will really help our students learn better, okay, than what we have done long time ago. So it is our creativity actually to do all of these ones. So it's the eclectic approach, because it allows flexibility with the teachers, for them to be able to tailor their instruction based on the background of the learners, the preferences, the learning styles, and for a more personalized educational experience. So that's the eclectic approach. And you can do all of these blends in one semester, perhaps, of your teaching. And today, I forgot this, content in language integrated learning is also one. Students learn here, for example, for science and history, while they are trying to improve their English skills, they are also contextualizing their language use within the academic framework. The content in language integrated learning has been popular also in our former curriculum, the Arabic, the revised education in the Philippines, wherein the content of most of the reading, speaking, is more on the science and history. Once, okay, this was applied in our curriculum. But today, we can still make use of these ones, especially that students nowadays are so inclined with science and technology. And with that, you can also reblend, or you can also include this CLIL. You can blend it with other approaches, so that you will be able to make use of the eclectic approach. So these are the approaches for EFL teaching. Okay, it's already. Yeah. Okay, so that's how we do the different approaches in the EFL context. Okay, may I ask again, if in the case of Indonesia, EFL, what is the most popular approach that you usually use in your EFL classes?
Okay, guys, there is question from Shakira. What is the most approach that you use to EFL learning? You're welcome, guys, to respond. I just heard about eclectic approach. Thank you, Shakira. And for myself, I use that kind of the approach. I use many approaches to suit on my students' need, and eclectic is the thing the most the approach that I use most in my EFL learning. What about students? What about you guys? What kind of approach that you use more for EFL learning? You're welcome to answer. Silakan. Ayo. We need your response, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Win. Yes.
Thank you. For my own experience in teaching English for students with special needs, especially for deaf students, total physical response is quite effective for them, karena kan disertai dengan gerakan, gestures. Besides, I also use technology enhanced learning, seperti yang tadi saya katakan. I use word wall, the flashcard of word wall in teaching them. I think that's all, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Yes, TPR is usually used really in your case because it really retains vocabulary, especially for the younger in the basic education. Okay, other more sharings?
Please, Ibu Sol Aspia, what about you? Because you teach in a remote area, what type or what is the type of the approach that you use for your EFL learning? Aspia, Bu Sol Aspia, are you available in the room? Or others, you're welcome guys to respond Ibu Slakira's questions. Hello, are you available in the room, everyone? I got a problem
Yes,
with
ma'am,
this
we
one.
are.
Okay, Bu Rosmiati, silakan.
Giving us time to share about our experience. This for me, I most use project-based learning to teach my students. And for example, after explaining about the material that students need to learn, I ask my student to make perform what they have studied in the form of a video, like making a dialogue, and then the student practice with their peers, or directly perform in the form of in front of the class. That's all right.
Thank you, Bu Roy.
Yes.
So project-based learning that Ibu Rosmiati used in their class, in her class.
Yes, thank you for sharing. Yes, project-based learning is common, I guess, in every. It's really eclectic this time. It's a multiple. We blend and we innovate a lot. Because during those times, if we study back, the approaches which has been used in the traditional way during those times, not all make use of eclectic. They only use 1, 2, 3 yes, during those times. But it was effective during those times. But this time, it seems that one is not enough. The trend is multiverse is really the trend today. Yeah, so are there more, if there are, I guess, no more question. So that is the content on my lecture on the impact of ICT to EFL, and that of the different approaches for EFL learning. And I hope that with the little sharing that I have, I hope I was able to help only even just a few for you to remember. Okay, so thank you very much, ma'am, for another opportunity, for inviting us again, and we will also invite you in our lectures. Yes, during our classes, so that we will have also, so that our students also will experience really the kind of world virtual class.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Ibu Syakira, for sharing a very valuable insight on ICT and approaches to EFL learning. I learned much on it, including eclectic approach. It's new for me, but we some of us already implemented on that. We tried to use not so many few approaches. We blend it and then we implement it in our class, but we don't know yet the term. So thank you for introducing us for the term. And also, really interesting for some ICT tools that you already shared to us. For the speaking, I would like to share my experience using ChatGPT application on the handphone. So
yes, mobile.
yeah, that's nice. I tried a couple of weeks ago because I got it from TikTok. Someone shared about using the ChatGPT application from handphone for the speaking, and then I tried that. I download the application and try speak, and we can use what kind of the sex that we would like to share to talk with, whether we would like to talk with female one or male. So I choose a female character there, and then I just try to speak whatever pop up in my mind, and the ChatGPT application respond very nice, and also I try to revise the language, the grammar, if we made a mistake in saying that. So this really nice. Probably the students might try as well using the GPT application on the handphone. So that's what my experience a couple of weeks ago, and I tried it. It's really interesting.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. Yes, because there are really mobile apps today.
Yeah.
It's effective. Even we do research or literature reviews. It's more on the mobile application that is friendly to the students. And yes, thank you also for sharing that. We might
Okay.
as will try.
Thank you. Students, apakah masih ada yang mau bertanya? Do you still want to say something regarding what Zakira's lectures today? This is really insightful knowledge that you share on us. Really nice one. Most of our students are teachers. As some already said that they teach at the remote areas and also in the inclusive class of disabled class. So they do face so many issues and challenges in using technology for in their class. But some of them are also teaching in the city, so they apply much on that. And then guys, you can see on the chat box, there are two kind of attendance lists, one from our Filipino collaborations and then one from Indonesia. So please fill in both attendance list from Indonesia and from the Philippines. That's for our administrations. And adakah lagi, is there any that would like to respond on Ibu Zakira's presentations? Would you like to give a big applause? Adakah? Vivian, do you want to say something? Sorry.
All set, ma'am. We just would like to say thank you for Ms. Shakira for sharing this valuable knowledge regarding ICT and approaches to TEFL.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Come again.
Yeah. You might give applause to Ibu Zakira, guys, virtually. Let me choose the emoticon in yours and then send your emoticon feeling for Ibu Zakira's lectures today. And then sub reminder, we still have a class at 1 p.m. Ibu Chesnara is going to share about discourse analysis. That's really an interesting thing, and I'm welcoming you all to join the class. I will send the link later on. It's already being on the flyer, but it's gonna be easy if I send directly the link, so you just can click the link that I'm going to share. So, apakah masih ada yang mau sharing something, or that's enough? Okay. Thank you. I believe that all of our audiences here get so many invaluable insight on ICT and TEFL. So although we are so calm, ma'am, but we how to say that we go around the things that you already share and we put it in our brain already. Thank you so much for sharing all the things regarding to the ICT and TEFL. That's really interesting. Come again, as what we will say, come again, and then share more in the future. So I think that's enough for today's sessions. We still have class in the afternoon. So please join back, guys. And then the attendance list for the certificate going to share later. Still on the process of making that for the certificate attendance. Do you want to say something before I end the session, Ibu Sakira?
Yeah. I just thank you for your participation, for listening, and we hope to see each other one time in Indonesia soon.
Yes,
Thank
we
you
will
so much.
welcome you. We are waiting for that. Thank you very much, Ibu Sakira. So, all right, give your big applause to Ibu Sakira, everyone. And then thank you, Ibu Sakira. Thank you. We are going to meet again at 1 p.m., everyone.
Sama-sama. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Bu Esnara. We are going to meet at 1. Diharapkan kehadirannya kembali ya, everyone. Bu Esnara is going to share also a very interesting class this afternoon. Terima kasih, Bu Sakira. Terima kasih, Filipina team. And we are going to meet again at 1 p.m. Terima kasih semua ya. Nanti kita saya share lagi. Ibu,
Please open your camera, ma'am, so we can get
betul.
the
So everyone
documentation.
turn on your camera. We are going to have the documentation sections.
Guys, ya situ Kak.
Mbak, fokus ke muka tak? Bu Anadi di sini di tengah atau kok? Ini modelan muku, model viewku. Oh, it seems
Pakai HP Kak, ma'am.
all set.
Wija, minta dulu Wija. Okay, I'm going to count down. Ready, guys? Bapak Rahman, please open your camera.
Itu mungkin buatlah saya ambil gambarnya.
Iya. Well,
Ya.
3, 2, 1, smile.
Oke.
Okay. Once more.
Ya.
3, 2, 1. Thank you, Bu Wiwi. It's so nice.
Vivian is always have a very nice gesture when we took a documentation section.
Thank
So
you
thank you
all.
everyone.
See you
Thank
in
you
the
all. I see you
1
again
o'clock.
1 p.m. Terima
Oh, yeah, 1
kasih.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ma'am Syakira, Ma'am
Tunggu ya jam 1 lagi ya.
Ma'am.
Silakan bergabung di jam 1 ya, Win. Kehadiranmu sangat dinantikan, Win. Jadi jangan off ya. Nanti di jam 1.
Yes, ma'am.
Kisman, saya tunggu jam 1 ya. Thank you.
Salam, ma'am.
Salam. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you. Bye-bye everyone. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Salam.